Hello, hello. Hello, anyone? Let me do something, okay? Hello. How are you guys? Are you guys doing okay? How are you guys? Sorry about that. Let me erase that. Okay. Hope you guys are doing okay. Oh, I need to change the Discord thing, but it's okay. Let's wait for a little bit. I'm gonna wait for like more person to come in because we're doing a workshop, so I started really early today. Well, maybe really late for some of you guys, but like I forgot today I have like a doctor's appointment, so I rescheduled the stream. So sorry about that. Okay. Okay. I think let me be right back. Okay, I'm gonna grab something. Let me be right back. Hello, Ruthless. Hello, how are you? How are you? How are you doing? I'm sorry, I'm back. I'm back. I'm so sorry the chat. I clicked the wrong thing. Hello, make plate barbecue. Ah, it's fine, it's fine. Ah, yeah. Okay, so today we are doing the workshop today. I don't think I initially scheduled a stream like later, but like I forgot today I have a doctor's appointment. So I will schedule it like I think really late last night, like last minute last night. Okay. Workshop. I also practice a little bit before doing the workshop. You know, I need to ensure I have how do you say it? Know what I'm talking about before showing you guys. Okay. It's bye. So many I's, so many E's. Okay. Should we wait a little bit longer? Chat a little bit? I think we can chat a little bit before we start. There's no late stream around here. Yay. I don't know, man. Sure. Yeah, sure. Why not? I didn't forget to like turn on the short latency for YouTube today. Like I remind myself like again and again like to do not do that. Like remember to get the settings, remember to get it right. And I did. Finally, I didn't drop the ball this time. I have like cup of rose mint tea with me. We're fine. Okay, did my mic? I don't know. My mic sometimes disconnect itself, and like it has a mind of its own, and I don't know. Okay. And the watch movie and you could use and it's gonna be cool. And I finally finished midterms. Yay! But I need to do an assignment that's late now. But it was generous. To the assignment and be back on track. Yeah, you finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. I remember you were so stressed out about like the whole, midterms and the assignment. I think from the sound of it, it's close to being done, right? So yeah, congratulations, early congratulations. Yeah, back. Hello. Back. Hello. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. And that's a really cute emoji. I like it. I like that emote. Maybe we can have something like that on the channel. Oh, do you know like the emo lab? Like kind of really trending. Is that a word? Like emo lab, right? I was debating whether I should buy or not. It's not that expensive, but like I don't know if I bought it. If I bought it, okay. I don't want to waste time with texturing the thing. I'm just gonna make it kind of semi-looking similar to my model. Maybe. Thank you for the lurk, Bragg. Thank you. If you want. I don't know whether I should buy or not. That's the thing. And if I bought it, I'm not gonna waste time with texturing. So we will have like a kind of similar thing. Because I know you can retexture, right? But I don't want to. I just don't want to. Because it. Of course, you can do it, and it's gonna look great, and it just spends so much time doing it. I don't want to do it. So. Because with texturing, it may seem simple, but when you really get into it, it's actually really really detail the work. Hello, Yuzang. Hello. Hello. It'd be like that, yeah. Yeah. Hi, we're gonna do the workshop today. I think we can start. Okay. Just working in general, it's the motivate. True. I don't know, man. Okay. I think we can start on today's workshop. Because I would like, if I have time, I will wait a little bit longer. But like, I don't think I need to control the stream under 3 hours. I think under 3 to 4 hours, 3 hours. Because I have like a doctor's appointment at like 4:30. So yeah, unfortunately we will have to start now. So today's topic, arm anatomy. Now I will cover what we can do, what we're not gonna do. We will gonna do a look into the basic anatomy of it. By basic anatomy, I mean like some simplified or grouped anatomy. We are not gonna talk about each muscles in detail. We will focus on the visible muscle. We will focus on visible muscle and like a group form of the visible muscle. Now it's okay. Let's take the whole rest this time instead of stepping. Okay. And then we're not gonna cover the arm. We're not gonna cover the hands. Okay, we'll cover the arm, the forearm, and the upper arm, and then the shoulder. We will not do the hand. So hand, it's still another topic. Okay, otherwise it would be like, I don't know, 7-hour stream. So we're not gonna do that. And today's we will talk about also different levels of drawing arms, from beginner to intermediate to like more advanced version. Okay, and then we will dive into like the bone structure and then the muscle being like the most people get stuck on and don't know which muscle is which, don't know where to place them. Really, will I have fun? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have fun. And then like today's it's I did do the research on some YouTube videos and like some online resources. Of course, there is much more to learn. Keep in mind, I do all the research in one day, so if I got something wrong, feel free to remind me. Okay. Now I did do some practice beforehand, so I hope this will be more clear enough. So first, we're gonna talk about this proportion. Okay, now you can see when we divided the arm in like 12 units, the longest one by like one unit more is actually the upper arm. Okay, so forearm and then hand. Okay, so this is a kind of simplified way to look for the proportion. Keep in mind when you're doing some foreshortenings or like some perspective, the proportion will change. Of course, you know this because perspective sometimes it's like messing with the proportion a little bit, but like in general, this will be the guide that you need to keep in mind when you're drawing arms. Okay. And of course, we talk about the hand. The hand is usually similar size to your face. So yeah, we aim for bigger rather than smaller hands. Okay. And then when we talk about now, we can talk about actually different types different levels of arms that you see people draw. So level 1, we have like we learned about 3D shapes, but usually people start with, I don't know. Oh. A thumbs up here, like this. Okay, so there is this can work with like a kind of stylized cartoon style. Okay, but we will call these simple shapes. Actually, call these simple shape. Simple shape. Now, you can improve this with a little bit dimension, with a little bit right now it's in flat, right? It's in flat, and we can improve this by thinking in like 3D shapes. Okay, and then there's of course another joint, and then there's the hand. So we talked about this before. Now, how do we return this 3D shape into this? There is a trick here. Okay, the reason that it feels flat is because there is no overlapping. When we're doing 3D shapes, when we overlap, it creates a sense of 3D objects. So we can just add a line here. Now suddenly it feels like more 3D shapes. Okay, so this is like basic things. Overlapping lines, okay? Overlapping lines. Now, we usually also need to do some contour lines. Using contour lines can definitely help you visualize and also show the objects in 3D. So, contour lines, okay? So this is the how to improve them. And I think we can move on. When you're doing it like this, it's still kind of meh. So we're gonna move on to level 2, okay? I'm gonna try to do it in like here. Let me save some space actually. I don't have enough space. Maybe I should use like a bigger canvas, huh? Maybe. Level 2. Dynamic shapes. We're gonna call it dynamic shapes. Dynamic shapes. Okay. So when we're doing dynamic shapes, actually this is a little bit touching on here also, but we can also see this same precision, same. I'm gonna draw the same pose on every level so you can see the difference. Okay, so circle for the joints. Okay, circle for the joints. And because there is muscle instead of a cylinder, this time we're gonna use like a kind of deformed cylinder. I'm gonna call it deformed cylinder. So. Circle for the joints. Now this is a little bit to keep in mind here. Okay, circle for the joints. It's kind of like a puppet, like those puppets. Now, a little bit to look at it, a little bit to keep in mind is the forearm here. Okay, forearm here. The forearm is kind of looking like those chicken drumsticks, you know, the KFC chicken drumsticks. This here can be like chicken drumstick. Okay, so it's kind of like that kind of shape here. Okay. Now, the reason that it's deformed, we talked about this, is actually like a underlying like just cylinders, but we like adding some mass to it because there is muscles, since people have muscles. So, and there is less fats or like tissue, whatever you want to call it, around the joints. So hence, like you can see, it's kind of, you know, thinner in a way. So if we let me duplicate this actually. If we use this as a sketch, okay, and then we can actually like this. Okay, so suddenly now it's looking more like an arm. Looking more like an arm, okay? But I think we can still go a little bit more, right? We can still go a little bit more. So I think this is where we start with a little bit anatomy, not too much, but like at least a little bit really rough idea. Where's my thing? There you go. So now here, look at here, the chain. So this is level 3, the chain, okay? Now, as you can see, the arm is kind of resemble like a chain in like interlocking with each other, right? Now, I do know there is some problem with this, is that like since the arm can twist and turns, and like how do you know which link is facing which, right? So there is a little bit, don't know which way, you know, to put the chains. But I think this is really great for visualization. Actually this one helped me a lot when I was learning drawing arms, because before I was actually doing only this, okay, only level 2 at best. I can do only it's level 2, and then I think I found this image on Pinterest, and then so it can turn into a chain, right? And it actually helps you also with like compartmentalize it a little bit, and also allows you to think about it in like they are not separate, like they are not separate parts, but they are more like interlocking with each other. So you can see here the interlocking, okay? So this is actually what helps me the most when I'm learning arm. Now we need to talk about a little bit about joints, when we need to think about which way it, like which links facing which. So this is horizontal, this is vertical, we're gonna call it that. So joints, there is 2 types of joints. There's also like first of all, there is like a socket or like ball joints. Is that what you call it? I'm gonna use a different color. Now, this type of joint, it's like it can turn a lot of ways. It can turn, I'm gonna use a yellow color. It can turn like this, it can turn like this, and then like just basically it can turn everywhere. This is called ball joint, right? And this is actually the shoulder and the hips. An example of this would be like and hips. So this is like kind of an example. And there is another joint, it's like a kind of like this. Again, same color. Now this is a hinge joint, and it can only go like this, right? So like it can only bend like, how do I say this? It can only bend like this directions, okay? These directions. Okay, this would be better for it. Okay, and if you turn it like this, it's gonna break, right? It's gonna break. So this is a hinge joint. I'm gonna actually compartmentalize it a little bit better on this. Ball joint is like, do you know like those BJD ball jointed doors? Like those are the ball joints, okay? And this is more like a hinge joint. And this, for example, would be like, I think, elbow, okay? And can only bend one direction. This one can like spin around whatever they like. Now, when we doing it like this, we can actually learn about something. Since the elbow is kind of like a hinge joint, and they need to face different opposite directions since it's a chain, right? So this one is facing this way, this one is, I'm gonna use another color. Can I have a more saturated color? Thank you. No. Okay, so this one is facing that way, this one is facing that way, this one is facing that way, and then this is the hand. Okay, the hand, we don't talk about the hand. We are not gonna talk about the hand. But this is generally the gist of it, and you do need to know about the joints. And when you can just move around, you may be thinking, when I was looking into the reference on this, I didn't know the elbow is actually like a hinge joint, because actually you can just turn your elbow, right, when you're thinking. So let's say I'm gonna show you something. Forgive me, okay. So let's say this is the hand, okay? And you can actually turn this way. This is a little bit foreshortening. I don't know, maybe if you cannot see it. Like, you can turn 90 degrees. When you bend your elbows 90 degrees, it can turn. But it's actually turning, the one that is turning is actually the shoulder. Okay? I'm not gonna draw the example to messes with because if I'm doing it quick, it's gonna look messy. Okay. Now, I think there is something to be keep in mind here. Let me merge this layer down. Is there is some things. It's I'm gonna give you an examples. When people drawing, we have level 3, right? We have level 3. Level 3 is the chain, but there is something wrong with this chain here. Is that when you're drawing it, again, the same pose, okay? This looks okay, this looks okay, but it's not that great. The reason being it's not that great is because like it's symmetrical. Okay, so when human being is not symmetrical, let alone like muscles, and it depends on how you bend it, how you use different force, how tense your muscles is. It can change quite a lot. So this is why it feels kind of off. So we don't want symmetry. Okay. More great way to actually analyze this is actually here. I'm gonna do here. Don't mind the text here. I just want to show you a thing. Now, like this. Okay, it's kind of like a zigzag kind of motion. So the muscles is like, if there's a bump here, there should be like a bump lower. If there's a bump here, there should be a bump lower. It's kind of forming like a zigzag motion. I'm gonna here. Okay. I need more space. I don't have space. A4 size is not good enough. Form zigzags. Okay. So this is a little bit to keep in mind when you draw. We don't keep it symmetrical. Even just a tiny little bit difference, it's gonna help with the flow. Because I do know some people, I think in the workshop actually, well, by some people have been don't know how to add the muscles, and also if adding the muscles kind of feel off, kind of feel like mechanical, kind of feel too symmetrical, too man-made. Okay, so we're gonna do this to help it feel more natural and also help it feel more flowy in like emotion. And unfortunately, in order to add the muscles correctly, we will have to learn anatomy. There is no point can avoid it from here on without learning anatomy. Okay. I think today's we're gonna mainly focus on male muscle. Now keep in mind all the muscles is gonna still exist in the female body, just less bulky and less like bulging out. Okay, and also different muscle mass have like a different bulking level. I'm just gonna say like this. Okay, so where you're like a normal person comparing to like a triathlete or like a shredded person, of course there is like a difference. We're just gonna go for like a kind of muscular but not too muscular to a point that you kind of worry about him level. Okay, so we're gonna go for like a kind of muscular tone, not too much. Okay, now hinge joint. Remember the joints that we talked about? Now we're gonna look at the bones, same as before. Remember the last workshop that we look at the chest, the torso. We will start from looking at the bones. Okay. Now this is actually a ball joint. We talked about this. This is a ball joint. Okay. This is a hinge joint, so it's kind of like this. This is a ball joint. Okay. Now we need to take a look at this. There is one bone for the upper arm. There's two for the forearm. Okay, humerus being the upper arm, and then it's connected to the scapula, the chicken wing bones. If you remember from last workshop, it's kind of like here, the chicken wing bones. Okay, the scapula. Okay, and the lower extremity. By lower extremity, we're gonna talk it the lower head. This head is actually articulated at the elbow. So this is the elbow, right? And it's connecting to the radius and the ulna. It's called ulna. Believe me, I have to Google it for it to know how to pronounce it. Okay, it's ulna. Now, a little bit to keep in mind. is that how do I say it like this? How do I say it properly? The owner is they. Of course, we will talk about some movement, twists and turns. We will have to keep in mind this does not change. It no matter how you turn your hand, no matter how you do crazy movements, this all the joints still connected. If it's disjointed, then you have an accident. Okay. Now, we will talk about the radius right now. This is actually connected to the thumb side. You can see here, the thumb side of the arm, and this is actually the pinky side of the arm. Okay. Of course, there is some little bones here, but we will not do that. So, the elbow joint is simply a hinge joint. Okay, it's simply a hinge joint, and this is actually the hinge here. This is just sticking to it, right? But this is actually the hinge, and this is what creates, I think, the most bulky part of the elbows. Okay. And you can see it. I think I can draw it. Okay, can I? Do I have no? I forgot to download the reference. But yeah, I can show you like this. So here. Okay, so it's kind of like this. It's kind of wedged in there, in a way. And then here is the other bone here. So this is kind of like what it look like. Okay, I'm gonna color this. Okay. So this is the humans. This is the radius. And this is ulnar. Okay. So it's kind of a hinge joint wedged in there. Okay. So there's a little bit to keep in mind. I'm gonna write down some notes here and then we can move on. Connects to scapula. Next to scapula and then here. Here's the thumb side. And this is the pinky side. Okay, this is a really simplified way to do it. I have made a lot of notes, but I don't want to overwhelm it so much. Now there is a little bit to keep in mind here. I'm gonna do it here. Pinky side. Now, when it's rotate, by rotate I mean the wrist. When you turn this is a palms up, right? Hello, Saming. This is palms up. When we turn it, palms being down, and this is called rotation, right? When we rotate the wrist, it actually rotates over. We're gonna talk about this later. When palms down. There is a little bit notes here. And then like this here, it's a little bit, I'm gonna say this again. This is actually really important. Okay. Regardless what happened when twisting of the forearm, the radius stayed on the outer side. Okay, especially this. I'm gonna. Can I have like a? Can I have? Regardless what happens. Stays on the outer side. Okay, but there's a little bit to keep in mind here. Okay. Hello, how are you doing, Sambing? Hello. We are doing a workshop on art today. Okay. Now, I think we can move on to the exciting part of the thing. I think. Okay, I'm gonna stop a little bit. Any questions right now? Any questions? Yeah. Let me check. Is there any notes missing? So, when I upload to the Discord, by the way, join the Discord if you want to join the workshop. There isn't gonna be any missing parts. Okay. We kind of this. Now, I think we can move on to the muscles. First one we will talk about the deltoid. Okay, we'll talk about the deltoid. We will move from this down. So we're gonna move from this toward here and then toward here. Okay, so we're gonna start with the deltoid. This is what we're gonna do. Okay. Now the deltoid. Usually when I'm sketching out the deltoid, I usually just do like this. Okay, so it's kind of like a teardrop shapes. Teardrop shape. Teardrop shape. And it's acting like a cap. You can see like I think here, acting like a cap over the, you can see here actually, acting like a cap over the shoulder joints, okay? Over joint. I'm just gonna say joints, so it's gonna less confusing. Okay, so usually I do it like this, like a teardrop shape. And then there's actually, I see there's kind of like here, kind of like this, okay? It tapers down the upper arm and then usually ending about halfway. So you can see here, it's like here. Can I have a thing? No, I cannot. Now you can see here, it's actually here, like this, okay? Is it too much? It's too much. Here, kind of like this here. And it usually ends about like halfway of the upper arm. So this is a little bit to be careful about. Usually I do it with like a little opened end. Like of course you can do it just like this, but usually I do it with a little open end. I kind of like this, okay? And then you can add the arm also accordingly, and then you can erase whatever. But usually when you just started sketching, I usually do this. So it's kind of, rather than like this, closing it, kind of not natural feeling, okay? And a little bit to keep in mind is that it's a free-headed muscle. It's free-headed, so it's kind of like this, okay? But when you're sketching, usually you don't see all the free head in person, unless they are like, I don't know, crazy shredded without drinking a drop of water in like past 2 days, and then they have been doing some heavy lifting for like, I don't know, past 2 hours. But usually there will be like a kind of dimp here, kind of like this, okay? And it's already enough. It's already kind of, you see it in actually kind of like really muscular people already. So you can also add like a kind of like this, okay? If you want. It depends on the pose. It depends on the how you feel it, how the perspective is. It depends on how much it bends, how tense the muscle is, okay? So I'm gonna do a little, so it's like this or like this, okay? So there's free version. Okay. Now a little bit to keep in mind here, as you can see, don't mind about the Chinese, okay? I'm gonna do it a little bit. It's actually end at the humerus bone, okay? It's actually the humerus bone is here. It's actually lining up to the humerus, okay? And when you end it here, it should actually point towards the elbow. Okay. Should point to the is this the ulnar or the elbow? We're just gonna call it the elbow. I'm gonna write this down. And this is actually quite a common mistake. I also make them. Is that I drew it like this here. Okay. I actually drew it like this, I think for quite a while, and it's actually not correct, okay? It's a teardrop shape and it's actually pointing toward here. So it's a little bit to keep in mind. Don't do what I did. And don't worry about the names of like the lateral and deltoid, yada yada yada. We're not gonna talk about it. We just have to focus on this, okay? We just have to focus on the overall shape and like how it interacts, and like just a little bit hints that there is like a muscle there. A little bit tips when drawing muscles. I see quite a lot of people, by quite a lot I mean I also do it, is that first of all they compartmentalize it way too much, and closing off the, like, let's do it like this, okay, and then they draw the arm and also close it off. This is okay, but it doesn't look quite good, and it's also not that natural looking. And I think like one thing that you need to know about is that, you see here, I actually use different line weights and also differentiate the line a little bit, so a little bit to keep in mind. Break up the lines, not too heavy-handed. Okay, we move on to the biceps. Biceps, I need it, thank you. Biceps, biceps, yeah. Let me drink some water. Now, I'm gonna give you some notes on the biceps. There is some notes that you need to remember. There is some that it's just to know of, and it's okay. Now, first of all, it's a two-headed muscle. Two-headed muscle. Okay, and it's long and stretched, and it's also make up quite, like, I think third of the, you can see it here, third of the upper arm. Okay, and when it's contract, when flexed, or like when you just moving the arm up, when contract, it shortens, of course. Shortens and bulges. Okay, and it usually and it sits on top of brachialis. Brachialis is this. Okay, we will talk about brachialis later, but it's a lot. Okay, be mindful. There is a lot of terms today, and you may need to, you know, look at it a couple times to actually get it, but it's okay. And it sits on top of brachialis. Sits on top of brachialis. I'm gonna use a capital here. Okay, brachialis is the middle part here. Okay. Now, I can also show you what is contracted. I'm gonna draw, like, it doesn't have like a reference for a contracted one, so I'm gonna draw it. Okay. This is like this, and it's contracted. Like that. Okay. Now, the triceps. We're gonna talk about the triceps, and then we're gonna talk about brachialis. Okay. Triceps. A three-headed muscle. I think three-headed mean there is more reference for this. Yeah, here. This is a more great way to show what is this? What it is. I'm gonna let me here. Okay. So we're gonna look at the three-headed muscle. Now, three-headed mean it's kind of like a horseshoe shaped here. You can see it quite here. You can see it. It's kind of like a horseshoe shape. Okay. So horseshoe shape. The long head is largest and sit on the can I get another here? This one is better to, show you guys. Here, we're gonna focus on this one. Now, the horseshoe shape, you can see it actually. The longer one, the longer ended is actually on the inside of the arm. Okay, on the inside, there is like a professional term for it, but we're just gonna call it inner outer. Okay, when I look for a reference, I was so confused about the professional term, and I think the inner outer it's enough for artists to actually remember. So on the inner side it's the longer one, and then the outer one is like a shorter, but it's also on the upper side. You can see here on the upper side on the arm here. So this is what create the bulging of like here. Okay, so this is what it does. And and keep in mind is that they are asymmetrical. You can see it here. So I think I can draw it actually. They're asymmetrical, kind of like this. Okay. So longer. Outside. I'm going on outside. There you go. So it's kind of like this. Like this, and then this is the elbow. Kind of like this. Okay, kind of like this. Now, they are a little bit bulkier on the inside, a little bit, and then there is a little bit what you call it, funny, not funny. They're a little bit I'm not gonna call it funny, I'm gonna call it to keep in mind, is that when you extend your arm, it's actually contracts. Okay, it's a contract. And when you move your arm up towards yourself, the biceps contracts. So they offer different function, right? So when you move your arm up, the biceps contracts. But when you move your arm down, the triceps contract, and it's actually contract upward and towards the shoulder. Okay, so a little bit to keep in mind here. Can I have a I don't have space. For God's sake, I don't have space. Cancel. Oh. I'm gonna draw a arm that is like this. No. I messed it up. Sorry about that. I messed it up. Sorry. I don't have space. And like this. So when it extends, kind of like this, here go just up. Okay. I want to draw it better so it's not too confusing. Yes. Okay. Now I think we can move on to the brachialis. Brachialis, there is quite a lot to say. Okay. Brachialis. I spelled it wrong. Sorry about that. Brachialis. Okay. Now, brachialis is what separates the biceps and triceps. So it's separate. Okay. It's in the middle. Now, it sits on the bicep on the front of the humerus bone, like the upper arm bone. We're gonna call that the humerus bone. It sits underneath. It's under the biceps. Okay, and we will talk about this a little bit more. We have like a diagram to show you what it's actually look like when you move your arm up, move your arm down. So we're gonna do that later. But you just need to know that it separates the triceps and biceps, and it's also underneath the biceps. Okay. And when the arm is flexed, by that I mean extend, or if you're using like force, It's actually create a separation. Okay. Now, there is some more info about brachialis that you need to know about. I was thinking maybe we can do it later, but I think we can actually just do it right now, so it's like a more contained section, so it doesn't have to, you know, different section, and then I'll be like, oh, later, remember the brachialis, we talk about it again. Now, it wedged into the upper arm here, it wedged into the upper arm, dividing the triceps and brachialis / biceps sides of the arm. So we'll talk about the separations. Draw a following line. Here, by that I mean, draw a following line here. A line. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was looking at the wrong notes. Sorry about that. My mind. There is so many names about this thing. I'm sorry. Forget about it. I'm sorry. Okay, so only need to know is separate the biceps and triceps. Okay, separate the biceps and triceps. There is a little bit in the inner parts of it, a little bit in the parts. Okay, and it makes out the outer arm here. Okay. Can I take a look? Okay. So I only really study over on this outer side here. On the inner side here, there's so much more to be said about the forearm here, and then like the inner parts of it. We would also talk about it later, but like right now, I think the most distinctive one here is that the outer side of the arm. So it's separated two and it wedged in between. Now when you draw it, usually people don't draw it. Usually they don't draw it like oh, there is like a line in between. Okay, so when people usually draw it, at least for me, it's like this. So there's like a deltoid. Yeah. And you can actually see that the deltoid is actually go down in it. So when usually people draw, you just draw like a line here. Yeah. You draw like a line here. Just here one. So we don't do like this. Okay. I guess it depends on how bulky you want it to feel. Now the one part to keep your character looking less bulky, more natural looking is that you do draw the details, but not too much. If you want it to be like kind of really shredded, like a bodybuilder, then draw all the muscle like details on it, like that there is. Yeah. So it will suddenly become more bulky, but I don't think people usually drew that type. I think at least. Like, at least I don't think so. So maybe like this. It's already enough, okay? Hello, you just woke up, Harsh? Yeah, it's okay. We are talking about the arm muscles, okay? Now we're gonna move on to the forearm. Now what we talked about earlier is like the upper arm. We're moving on to the forearm. The forearm, we're gonna start with a kind of large muscle group. Now remember, like we're talking about simplified muscles. There is a lot of tiny muscles actually in between. Okay, I can show you actually. Now you can see there is like a lot of muscle here that we don't need to know every single one of them. We just need to know there is like a group of muscles. Okay. Hello, Harsh. Sorry about that. I need to drink some water. My throat is hurting. My throat is hurting, but it's okay. Extensor, yes. Now, when the extensor, we're talking about this group of muscle here. It's mostly in the back. Okay, mostly at the back. And it's actually on the thumb side. Okay. Mostly at the back of the thumb side here. You can see a little bit going on here. Okay. Located at the inner, no, and it's originated from the outer elbow here. Originated from the outer elbow, form a bullet-shaped mass, then extend to the hand and straighten the wrist. Start at the outer elbow. And then it's like a bullet shape. By bullet shape, I mean like this. Well, you can already see like the bullet shape, right? I like this. Okay, bullet shape. Yeah, we will talk about we covered all that. I started a little bit early today, so because I have a doctor's appointment, so maybe you can go look back the VOD. But like, yeah, we talked about different levels, the proportion first, different levels of arm, joints, the chain, and then the flow of the arm, which I want this to be more centered. And then we talk about the bones. The bones, I mean this. We talk about the bones, the joints. Okay, I'm gonna also organize the layers a little bit. We'll talk about the deltoid. And then here is the biceps, triceps. Oh, triceps. I didn't write down the notes on tricep. I'm sorry about that. Let me write down the notes on tricep. Oh no, I did write down. Yes, horseshoe shape. Yes. And then brachialis. Okay. And then we are going through the forearm now. Okay. Where were we? Oh yeah, you started at the outer elbow and then it formed a bullet shape here. This is like a group muscle, so you just need to know there is like a large group of muscle that mostly at the back of the reaching at the back of the wrist, at the back of the forearm, and then like extended toward the wrist. Okay, and almost more closely to the thumb side. Okay, so we just need to know about that. We're gonna also talk about how we use all this knowledge when we're drawing. So there is a lot. I'm just gonna say it. There is a lot. Now we are talking about the plexus. Again, this is like a simplified and grouped muscle. There is a lot of tiny muscles like compartmentalized if you want to, but I just like for an artist you just only need there is like a group of muscle there. Okay, now like so mostly at the front, on the front. On the front side and the pinky. Okay. Located at the inner or palm side, so it's like on the forearm. So it's like here, inside. And it's actually, I think, from like a chicken drumsticks kind of shape. So it's like chicken drumsticks. Chicken drumsticks shape. Kind of like this. Okay. And it's tapers towards the wrist, which towards the wrist. There is a lot of professional term. I'm gonna do it in like a more simplified term. It reaches to the wrist and it bends the wrist. It's for bending the wrist. And yeah. Okay. So you just need to know there is like a group of muscle there. Now, this is the brachioradialis. Okay, brachioradialis. This is not brachialis. This is brachioradialis. Radialis being there is like a radia being like rotate. So there's a little bit rotation involved in this. Okay, so we need to be careful. So I'm gonna move this one here. Okay, how do I spell this? You don't need to know about the name if you want to look for some reference, right? So this is quite like you cannot just call it arm muscles. Right? Now, you can call it ridge muscles. You can also call it like okay. Okay, now this is where it's all get a little bit confusing, or like a little bit technical. Now it's start. Where it start is start around brachialis. Where is the brachialis? Start around brachialis and follow the way down, and then go all the way down. Okay. This is the brachialis. it follow the radius. The radius being like the bone that is like next on the thumb side. It follow the radius. Tracking the thumb side of the wrist, so it's, you can see it actually reaching towards the wrist, the thumb side. So I'm gonna say it like where's my brush? Where's my brush? Okay. So it actually follows down and then towards the thumb here. You can see that. Now, the bulky part is like here. So the bulky part, by bulky part I mean here. This is the bulky part, right? The bulky part ends like I think around 1/3 of the form. Halfway. There's something falling down behind me. Okay, halfway down the forearm. Here, halfway. Okay, it's the bulky part. Okay. Now, it has a big impact of the forearm. So this is why I made a lot of notes about this thing. I was struggling with this thing when I was practicing, so there is a little bit to keep in mind. I'm also gonna show you about some practice that I did yesterday, just to show you guys like what I did wrong, what I need to, like, if you want to sketch it yourself, what to keep in mind. So we're gonna talk about it later. And it gets stretched. This one, the brachioradialis, gets stretched and pulled when the twist and rotate, when the wrist is rotated. Now, this actually really come into play when your wrist is rotated. By rotated, I mean when your palms is facing up, your bones is actually parallel to it. The two bones on your forearm, the ulnar and the radius, is actually parallel. It's like a downward triangle. Downward triangle? I mean, if that makes sense to you, then that's okay. Yeah. By rotating, I mean like when your palms switch to palms up to palms down. That's what we call rotation. Okay. There is a little bit movement we have to talk about when we talk about rotation. So we're gonna talk about that later. Just keep in mind, here is a little bit simplified form of all the muscles here. Extensor is the back of the arm. Flexor is the inner part of the arm, but it's also covered a little bit on the side. So this is what we need to take about. Okay. Now, we will talk about some movements now. We will talk about some movements on muscles. Before we will all talk about like, oh, what kind of muscles there, what, like how they, which part they are covering, where are they, but we'll talk about movement. Okay, movement 1. So when you contract here, when you bend your elbow toward yourself, you actually use your bicep and brachialis. Brachialis is the one underneath the biceps. Okay, so you can see it's actually like contract. Okay. And then when you extend your elbow, you actually use your tricep. We talk about this, okay? But we're gonna talk about that later. This is the brachialis. One thing to keep in mind is that the brachialis, I'm gonna talk about it again, it's underneath the biceps, and this is what creates those when you see those bodybuilders. How am I feeling today? Tired. I don't know why. I feel a little bit tired, but it's okay. So when you see those fitness video, when you see those they doing some like lifting on like some weights, and this is what creates that bulge. Okay, so it's not only the biceps, there is also a brachialis underneath, so a little bit to keep in mind. Okay, and then we will talk about this is the movement number 2, the extension. And we extend. Extend the elbow. So triceps. By that I mean like the triceps is like active. You can see this here. That ain't how mine work. I just wing them and hope for the best. Yeah. Before I was like, I was like, the arm is a little bit confusing to me, so that's why I took the opportunity to actually, of course, I want to show you guys, and I also want to actually broaden my knowledge about the arm. So yeah. This is what I call the triceps. Look at this. It's actually bulging upward toward the shoulder. So this is the shoulder. Okay, so there's a scapula here. This shoulder. So again, arm moving up, bending your elbow, triceps, biceps, and brachialis. Elbow moving down, so extending your elbow, arm moving down, triceps. So this is a little bit to keep in mind. Okay. Now, rotation. Yeah. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, but you can actually experiment a little bit with your own hand. Okay, as you see from the diagram here, when your palm is facing up, these two bones, radius and ulnar, is actually parallel to each other. Okay? Parallel to each other, and you can actually just your head. Now it's fine, this is all gonna be uploaded on YouTube, and it's also gonna be edited down well in the future in the video, in the bite-sized knowledge, but like if you want the full stream, you can also watch it again. So right now you can actually try and just using your own arm. When your palm is facing up, you can actually maybe pinch it around a little bit lower than the elbow. Pinch it, and then you can actually see when you turn your palm, the palm and facing down, the radius actually move. Okay, but there is a but. Even though this turns and then rotates over the ulnar, this is the ulnar. Okay, this is ulnar. This is ulnar. This is called the ulnar. Okay, it's ulnar. Even though it's moving, there is a little bit to keep in mind, is that these two things doesn't change. Okay, they still attach to the humerus, to the upper arm bone. It's only because the muscles, like, it turns a little bit. think of it like actually kind of like a rubber band. Do you see the rubber bands? And bone, yes. Muscles and bones, yes, you're correct. You can actually maybe I think you can actually visualize it as like a rubber band. When you turn it, it actually become like this, right? Kind of like this. Okay. Like this. So just a little bit visualization. You can really feel it if you just use your own body as a reference. There is no better way to say this, but like when you pinch it lower, a little bit lower than your elbow, and when you rotate your palm, the wrist, you can actually feel the bone moving, right? And that's what really helped me when I was looking. I know it moved, but when I was looking for the diagram, I was like kind of confusing, but like, and then I was like, oh, I have an arm, I'm gonna use it as a reference. So yes, it's actually twist, and this is the thing where it gets a little bit how do you say, confusing, not confusing, a little bit. Keep in mind, we are only talking about the bone here, but we're gonna talk about the muscles later. So there is the muscle layer on top of it. It also turns, okay? The muscles also turns. We will talk about it later. Okay. So when it rotates, I'm just gonna say the rotation. Okay, when rotates, radius, oh no, okay. So I'm gonna stress this again. Other joints at the elbow and at the wrist remain the same. They don't change. Okay, so here they all remain the same. Okay, it's only moving a little bit. It's only like a rubber band. Here, they still attach. It's just the middle part that is twisted. Okay, otherwise you will have like a dislocated accident. Oh, something fell down. What fell? Okay. Something fell down behind me, but it's okay. It scares me, okay? Okay. A little bit to keep in mind here. Okay. So a little bit to keep in mind here. Now, because the brachioradialis, remember the brachioradialis? Remember him? This. Now, because this actually follow the radius and also tracking the thumb, so when you turned, not only did the bone actually turned, because there you can see like the radii, right? So it means it's actually also turned a little bit alongside with it. Okay, it actually turned, if that makes sense. There's a little bit more info on the brachioradialis. Yes, it's actually wedged. Here, it's actually wedged into the upper arms. Okay, it actually connects both the upper arm and then the lower arm, and this will came into play when you really draw like whether it being like bending or like flexing. I'm gonna draw like an example later and then you can see, but it's actually wedged in there and it's not compartmentalized only to the forearm. It's actually reaching over to the upper arm, so this is a little bit to be careful about. Okay, zoom in a little bit, and then it's in the dividing section of like the triceps and like brachialis and biceps. Okay, just like here, like in he just wedge in there. Okay. Okay. And this is what gives like a kind of muscular feeling. I'm gonna draw like an example later. I'm gonna show you some example later, and then you can see the, you know, the muscle feeling later. Now, there is also some muscles that are not in the main 6 group of the muscle. We talk about 6 group of the muscles. We talk about like the deltoid. Okay, we talk about the deltoid, the biceps, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, the triceps, brachialis, which is in the middle part, brachialis, and then in the forearm we have like extensor, flexor, and then brachioradialis, right? There is 6, but on top of the 6, there is some that you need to also know if you want to draw like kind of, you know, more appealing one, just like more extra info. Okay, just extra info. But I think the 6 is already enough. But like if you want to add more spice to it, if you want to add more, you know, you can. Now, aconius muscle. Can I move this thing over? This is more like an extra info. Okay, so don't mind if like it's a little bit overwhelming. Yeah, when I like search for some reference, I was overwhelmed. Okay, I was overwhelmed. Now, this is a little bit here. I think the bottom one actually show it better, but like you can see here, it's at the elbow. At the elbow and help extend the arm. So if you want to draw like a muscular person, you can also add a line here. I think, you know, add a line here. Can I have here, add a line here? We will talk about like finding landmarks and how to sketch a more appealing one. So here, the red part here. So this is the red part. I'm gonna use like okay, at the elbow, and then there is another one here. Armpit muscle, coracobrachialis. Okay, I'm just gonna write down the name. You can just call it armpit muscle. Okay, I'm gonna call it armpit muscle. I am. Brachialis. Okay, so the armpit muscle. I'm just gonna call it armpit muscle. Okay, so like this is when you draw like I think you can actually see it quite well here, especially this one is when you draw on like kind of in this pose, there is like a here so like you usually can draw like a line here, right? And then you like this, okay? So you can add like a little triangle here to show that there's a muscle here. Usually you can draw like a line here. So this would be like the biceps, right? Biceps and brachialis, but kind of like this. And when it's like relaxed position, it's in here. Okay, kind of like this. And then there is another one. This is the inner part of the elbow muscle. Inner elbow muscle. It's called pronator teres. Yes, I don't know. Okay. So this is what caused like at least a part of it, at least one side of it, what caused people sometimes draw like this, right? So I'm gonna draw the deltoid here. So sometimes people do like this here, right? So this is what causes it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And it's actually touching a little bit on the next point that we're gonna talk about. Okay, mainly in the forearm at the base of the brachialis. At the base of the brachialis. Yes, at the base of the brachialis. So yeah. Here. Yeah, this is more like a simplified. Yeah. So this is where we talk about like a landmarks when we draw, when we sketch landmarks. Here, remember like I was already saying this, there's like a little bit touching on this topic. Here, landmarks. Landmarks. Landmarks number 1. Okay. But you go here, watch the stream later? Yeah. Take care, okay? Inside of the elbow. So this is what like when some of your sketches doesn't feel detailed enough, often it's lacking information for viewers to see the details. Now I'm not talking about you have to map out all the muscles, right? We already said that we don't like that. We are talking about you have to add some hints to the viewers knowing that, oh, there is something there. Now, this is like a 2 indicating lines. So 2 lines. 2 lines. There's like parallel in the drawing of an arm. So this is parallel. Okay. Like next to each other. The 2 lines next to each other, and it's hugging the biceps on each side. Okay, so yeah, on each side, from each side. here. So number one. So number one, I can actually do like this. It's a brachialis. It's a brachialis growing around the biceps. And then number two inside, so the inside one. Inside one is that the bicep wedge into the biceps wedge into pronator. How do you spell pronator? So the last muscle that we talk about, teres. Okay, that creates the runner and the flexor and flexor. Flexor being like here. Flexor and create a line mark. Okay, so there's a little bit to be careful about. Okay. And then on the outside of the elbow. And then on the outside of the elbow now. This is what we call like the ulnar furrow. On the furrow. So basically it's like a line that is extended from the ulnar. Okay, because I think you can see this quite well with here. Can you? Yes, you can. Or you can see it like this here. The ulnar. The ulnar is like, you can actually even feel it on your own arms. Is that there is like extended to, it's like reaching to the like what you call it, pinky, and then it's like kinda exposed, like without any muscles on top of it, just a little bit right on the elbow side and then to here. So, and this is what causes it to create like a line. Here you can see like the ulnar furrow, the line. Okay. Ulnar furrow. Okay. A long narrow trench made by the muscles surrounding the ulnar on each side. So this is, since the bone itself is kind of exposed but only have muscles on each side, so it kind of create like a line. And this actually really helps when you sketch to actually add more information for viewers to see. Okay. To draw it, you can actually map a line. Map a line ulnar. Map a line ulnar. Going from elbow correctly to pinky. Okay, so there's a little bit of the cap. So all okay. And then there is also one here number 3 here. I'm gonna map that out later. So you can also add a line around the elbow. Line around the elbow for like indicate there is like a brachia radialis. Okay. Brachialis over biceps, and moving up to the upper arm. Okay. So it's gonna be so they're a little bit like kind of thing that you can, you know, play around a little. Now let me pull up some reference that I gather, some sketches actually, to show you guys like about how you usually do when you sketch it. Like we have all the knowledge, but how we use it in like a actual sketch, if that makes sense. Forgive on my voice if I sound tired, because my throat is actually kind of hurting. Well, this is like a example. I'm also gonna pull up my own study, but we can actually use this one first. Okay. Now, as you can see, the brachia radialis plays a lot of like the composition of the arm. Okay. But I think like if a better example would be like actually some that I drew here. Okay. So now this is what I did yesterday after learning all of this, and like you can see, you can see this part is the brachia radialis, right? And this is the biceps, triceps. And right. So this is what we can do on here. Okay. Now the one thing that I found it kind of helping is that usually people draw arms. Usually when they draw arms, is that they draw it like this, right? Okay, usually when they draw it like this, I think. Okay, but pay attention to this one here. Now, I'm not saying that this is wrong. In some cases, like this is actually really correct. But what I found out yesterday is that when drawing in like this here, it actually like this. Okay, and it's actually indicate the, again, brachioradialis to go up on the here wedge in between, right? So here. So this is what I found out yesterday, and it's actually quite helpful. You can see it also here. Like this. Okay. And also here. So it's actually quite helpful here. Okay. And then here. This is a little bit, you know, to know when drawing the arm here, is that we again talk about the brachioradialis here. Actually wedge in between, right? And it's actually moving from forearm, it's connect forearm to upper arm, so there is like a over on it. So there's like them, if we divide it in two parts, it would be this. But since it's connecting the two here, and hence there is like a overlap here. There's like a here. So what I found out when drawing is a lot of the times you have to use kind of like this kind of line, like overlapping lines, if that makes sense. Overlapping lines here to show that each part is like on top of each, right? Also here, there's like overlapping, and then there's like an inner part here. This would be like without the inner. So it should be have something here. Okay. And this is the one that I did today. Okay, so this is a little bit in foreshortenings. I was playing around with, the reference didn't come with this much muscle. The reference is like a less muscle mass, but I'm like, what if I turn it into like a more muscular kind of thing? So I was imagining it and kind of like this. This is the honor furrow. Remember there was an honor furrow here. You see me drawing this a lot because it helps you with the direction of the arm actually. Okay. Also add more information. And one thing to keep in mind is that when you looking at it from this angle, we're talking about we're focusing on this two here. This two, okay. Don't worry about this one. When we're facing when the, I don't know how to say this, but when we're looking at this angle, there is like usually there is like a fatty tissue, whatever. There is like a muscle here. This is the brachioradialis, right here. So it's actually kind of here, so overlapping a little. I don't know how to show you guys this, but here. Okay, and then there is a little bit to be keep in mind is that the length on the elbow is actually wider than what usually you would see. Usually you would draw like a kind of like this, right, for the elbow. But when you're doing it in this, especially in this, it's more like a trapezoid. Like you can only see here. Okay, since there is like two bones actually. On the floor. Yeah. This one is correct. Like this is the honor. Yes, this is the honor. Yeah. Okay. There's just a little bit to keep in mind. Okay. I think today is quite an information overload, huh? Yeah. I think like if I edit by I mean like I have someone that helps me edit this video, maybe we'll do like a 2 to 3 part series. It's too much. It's too much. I think like at least minimum 3 parts, I think. But yeah. Ooh. Ah, I forgot. For the practice, I think what I found out when doing some practice here, I think like practice. You hear me recommending like Post Maniac a lot, right? Maniac.com a lot, and I think that's still true. I still would like it, but there is something about it is that if you're drawing it like want to study it not only accurately but also wanted to draw it kind of pleasing in a way, I think like this is not enough anymore. Like this is actually great for knowing which muscle go where, but if you want to draw it in like more appealing way, I would recommend using some real life photos. By that I mean just go search on Pinterest, okay? And I think like I found out using like a real life photo actually really helps, because the Post Maniac one is like they have all the muscles and I think at least visible to you. Well, maybe there is like a setting you can do. I think at least from my settings that I usually use it is that they have every single muscles and it can be a little bit overwhelming, and it doesn't show you what it will look like on a actual human being, if that makes sense, right? So when you're studying like a real life photo, that actually helps you with like both the believability of your art and also just more appealing in a way. Yeah. I think most of this, I think minus some couple, I think most of this is actually from real life photos. Minor a couple ones that are like using Post Maniacs. And here you can see it on the female actually. On female, we don't usually draw that much lines to indicate the muscles, because if you want to draw a muscular female, of course you can, but when you draw like, I think usually female this is what people usually go for, and like not that many information about the muscles, just like a general outline of it is actually enough. But you do still need to know about there is like here there's like a biceps tricep here. Okay, you do still need to know there's some muscle there. Okay. Okay, any questions? Any questions? If there is no questions, then I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Do I still draw? No, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna end the stream here because I do need the VOD to be only workshop related, right? Otherwise, I would keep like maybe practicing a little bit and then draw like regular, be like a regular art stream. But like, I don't think that's the case here. What do you mean? You're leaving? Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Also prepping for some maybe future short form content. Also some maybe posts. I also need some time to actually. I still haven't scheduled today's post. So yeah. No. Yeah. But I think generally today is quite productive, I think. Generally. If there is no more questions, quick more than anything. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I go over the topics too quick? Because I was worrying about it being too drag on and like, you know. Is it too quick? The stream in general. Never see me come and go this fast. Yeah. But I do have to keep the, you know, the VOD just separate from like regular streaming. So yeah. I also have a doctor's appointment today, so if not, I will like end the stream and then open up the stream again, maybe draw. But like I have a doctor's appointment, so unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, thank you for understanding. Well, it's only like I think I'm gonna also stream like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? So it's only till that, only like a day after tomorrow, so it's fine. Yeah, we're gonna see each other soon. Oh, I also hope your like projects, like the assignment and anything that you may have at hand, be going smoothly. You know, I have to go. Yeah. I also hope your like assignments and also the, you know, projects you have end went smoothly without any bumps. Okay, you got this. You got this. I'm gonna go now. Take care. Thank you so much for joining. I know today's is more like, I don't know, I'm treating this is more like a recording right now because there isn't that many people live. But I think you guys can still watch the VOD and yeah. Greeting comes back good. Yeah, you got this, man. You got this. You got this. By how hard you work, I know you're gonna, you know. No. You got this. You got this. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. and sticking with me if I'm yapping so much information, a little bit overwhelming. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go now. Bye bye. Okay. You hope my doctor's appointment go well? Yeah. I also hope that too. Finger crossing I'm not gonna be late. I have a terrible reputation of being late. So it's okay. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Take care, okay? Bye bye. See you soon, okay?